Hello, and this is a first impression of Ghost of Tsushima. And I know first question's gotta be, is this just Assassin's Creed? And the answer is, well, put it this way. If you were to just give me this, like add some stupid futuristic bullshit and, some Assassin's Creed tropes, but mostly keep it the same, I'd believe, okay, this is the next big step for Assassin's Creed, and I'd actually be quite impressed. I'd be a lot more hyped for Beyond Good and Evil 2 than I currently am, but I still would be yeah, this seems pretty Assassin's Creed. I mean, it's better than any of the Assassin's Creed, but it still feels very Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed's peak is a 7 out of 10 at best, so this is me basically saying this might be an 8 out of 10. But do I like it? Yeah, like I said, this might be an 8 out of 10. I'm still early days with this thing, but it does a lot to just remove a lot of annoying bullshit a lot of these big open world games have. Which isn't to say it's perfect, it's still got a lot of problems. But so far, I'm having fun with it. But, like I said, still a good few things I don't like. If I can just complain about something really petty that I still find really annoying, it would just be the fact that you have to press a button to pick stuff up. I know that's a weird thing to have a go at, but I'm kind of missing the days of early Zelda and Spyro and whatever, where you'll just walk over something and your character would just be in your inventory. It seems to be this weird thing they've inherited from RPGs. Problem is, with RPGs, a lot of them have systems where you actually sometimes won't want to pick something up. In this, you're always going to want to pick something up. If you walk into something, you're going to want to pick it up. There's no downside to picking something up. I know I incite the name of Last of Us 2 a lot, but that has an option you can set where whenever you walk near ammo or any sort of item you would have a reason to pick up, your character will just pick it up without you having to press anything. And I know, minor thing, I just demand it be in everything now, unless it's Jesus Christ, playing Far Cry, you have an inventory limit that's completely fucking pointless and is just there to make you go to a shop. I'm sorry, I'm ranting, but I wish they would, this is like adding motion controls for aiming. It's something which should be standardized. Not everything's Resident Evil. A lot of stuff doesn't have an inventory limit. Just let me pick shit up. So let me talk about the inventory for a bit, because that's something I think they did good with. There's different armors to unlock, but these armors are more like classes. You get your Ronin armor, your Samurai armor, your Traveler armor, your Archer armor. You don't get 50 different Archer armors, half of which are shit. No, I'm under exaggerating. 99% of which are shit. This isn't this sort of stupid Assassin's Creed RPG thing where you're constantly or fucking Witcher, which is also honestly guilty of it, where you're constantly picking up all this, legendary swords or whatever, and then an hour later it's completely useless because you got something better. This is something I do quite like. I'm still not keen on the whole getting armors with different stats things, because that makes you spend more time in menus, and menus are always bad, and you should stay out of them in most games. But okay, not all, I'm just saying, if I'm playing my open world action game, I'd like to stay away from the menus as much as possible. And for what it's worth, Tsushima mostly does this far better than most other games in its genre, but it still has them. I'm just thinking, maybe having an option. So, do you remember Metal Gear Solid 4, where you would, if you just lay on something, your camouflage would automatically sort of fit it. And I'm just thinking something like this, like you stealth, you're in Ronin, you draw your sword, you switch to your samurai armor, you pull out your bow, you switch to your archer armor, and you're just wandering around, okay, traveler armor. Like, these have specific boosts. Like I said, they work like classes, and I'm glad you don't have a ton of variants on the same fucking one, but I still feel like this is an issue I also had with Breath of the Wild. Like, you're always going to want to have your climbing armor on when you're climbing, so it just acts as a thing to push you back into menus. But like I said, there's a good few things this does to improve on those menu problems. And one is the whole wind thing. Basically, when you set an objective, wind blows in that way, and it's a lot better than a breadcrumb trail or a map or a navigational arrow. Like, it just kind of makes you not just... There's no mini-map, which I like, so you're kind of looking about a lot more than you would be if you always had like a mini map showing where everything was. So that's nice. Birds and foxes, if you see them, they will show you the way to like random collectibles you might want to pick up, which once again is a lot better than just having a scattered mini map. Like, it feels a lot more satisfying to spot a bird or a fox and chase after it, and it take you to some upgrade. So once again, that's nice. And like I said, the upgrades aren't loot box style things where there's a good chance it's just some irrelevant sword your junk. So once again, that's appreciated. Like, this, none of this really ever gets away from the core thing that this is one of those big open world games which probably has more content than it really needs. So I'm just going to skip ahead to some combat so I can talk about that, because I've noticed this footage is just going back and forth into menus a lot, and that should be all I need to really say for the whole can we have less menus please. So moving on to combat, it's actually pretty decent. Not groundbreaking, but better than I initially expected. See, first time I saw this combat, I was expecting it to literally just be Batman. I was expecting Batman, but no, it's really not. Like, you don't sort of fly 2 meters towards every enemy when you press attack. Enemies still aren't that difficult, but it's better than I thought, and I'm hoping it will continue to improve. It's got that nice brutal feel, like a headshot is usually a headshot. You'll come across enemies with armoured heads, so you can headshot them. Sort of repeated strong attacks break shields. You've got different stances. I've only unlocked 2 of 4. Right now, these 2 don't feel too different, which I think is a bit of a shame. Like, I got like water and stone, and they don't really feel, they feel more like stuff you want to use on specific enemy types rather than massive changes in how you fight. But, I don't know, I've not really focused on unlocking new moves or abilities for the 2 of them. I've mostly been picking up all the abilities which cross across all styles. You know, once I unlock the whole lot of them, I'll probably decide on what one I want to upgrade. Good news is you can't upgrade the damage for individual ones. You can just add like additional moves and perks, which I appreciate, so they're not going to become broken like that. But yeah, it does feel more something you do because you want to like swing your sword slightly different, rather than because you want to swing really fast or swing really strong. It's not like that crazy Yakuza or DMC style switching where they have massive changes to how you play depending on what style you're using. You got like gadgets and stuff also. They feel a bit overpowered to me right now, but it'd be interesting to see if enemy types kind of broaden things out and really have to make you experiment a lot more. like every game like this, there are camps to clear. They're above average camps to clear. This is sort of reminding me a lot of, say, a Spider-Man or Horizon Zero Dawn in a way, which isn't a negative thing to say, but neither of those titles are really particular favourites of mine. I'll say it does certain things better than both. I don't know, as Eli said, I stay on menus a lot more than I did in Horizon. It seems like the way the weapons have been set out, it seems like every unique weapon is something you will be able to equip without going to a menu, which once again I appreciate. Less RPG bullshit is always nice. There's the standard Witcher, go here, talk to someone, look around a bit until a thing shows you where to go. No Witcher sense the breadcrumb trail, which is appreciated, but yeah, that's there. And once again, I'm thinking, couldn't my guy have not had to press R2 to pick that up? There's no reason I wouldn't, but I'll leave that for a bit. Let's skip forward now a little. So I guess it's time to talk about parkour and platforming and all that stuff. And it's fine, basically. Once again, it's far better than playing any Assassin's Creed, because I'm actually pressing a jump button here and aiming where I want to jump, which is hugely appreciated. I'm not just holding down one button and watching my guy like automatically decide where he jumps, but it does feel pretty simple, like it's just sort of there. He feels very Soccer Punch, like he'll sort of automatically, almost like he's got a magnet attached to his feet, sort of land towards ledges or bits of ground, that sort of thing. It's another thing which is just kind of fine and is good because it's not bad really. So not really high praise there, but who knows? Maybe later on we get some interesting stuff with it. I would be much madder if this was like a Tomb Raider game, because all those Tomb Raider games have like platforming exactly like this, but those games are full of platforming and they completely don't justify having this sort of level of fairly shallow platforming in there. One thing I do want to quickly complain about is, as you know, this is RPG style perks, all that stuff, and once again, I think that's bad personally, but I'm sure some people like this stuff, like going into menus and equipping stuff to set up your guy for the next mission. And I feel like if you could only do this at specific spots and it was sort of this thing which pushed you to plan, Death Stranding style, I might appreciate it. But yeah, there's this goofy thing where you actually have to sort of level your guy so he doesn't take damage from falls, and that that's kind of why I don't like these systems, because it feels like there's always some stuff which it would be much better if you started with, which is just locked away. But here's some Witcher style, let's look at the thing and tell you what to do. Once again, appreciate no minimap. That's good. There's treasure hunt stuff where you get a map and have to find it in the environment, and once again, it's actually kind of enjoyable, more so than it should be, just because they don't have that minimap. Like, I know I keep beating it, but no breadcrumb trail, no minimap, that definitely makes this a better game, if you ask me. So I think it's time to skip forward. I've gone over what the platforming is. Okay, one thing I think I should bring up is jumping through the air and assassinating someone, way more satisfying than, say, any Assassin's Creed, just because you run and you jump and you press a button to take off, and then you press square over someone's head and your guy falls down. You don't just press square while you're standing on a building and watch your guy leap and do it. Like, it feels actually, I think you can do that, but it's a lot more satisfying to jump off and press that button at the same time. just making a case for how important these tiny little things can be. Oh yeah, you've got these standoffs. Basically, you can press a button and your guy will call out other enemies so you can fight them, which is nice just because like you're not gonna run around looking for to finish off that last enemy. Like you can choose if you want to just go in and take them all out straight away, which yeah, it's nice. Like this option will sort of disappear once enemies start coming at you, but then once you're finished them mostly off, it pops up again, so you can just have a button where your guy will just scream out and yell and get like that one last guy you were looking for to clear the mission to come out. And yeah, the combat reminds me a little bit actually of Metal Gear Rising. Like I wouldn't put it up there next to that, but it's, I mean, Rising didn't have the most complex combat anyway. I mean, DMC, much as people like to bitch about it, probably had more in-depth combat than Metal Gear Rising did. I don't know. Rising, definitely one of my favourite games of all time, but that was more because of how good the core campaign was and how it didn't outstay its welcome. So again, you've got like slowdowns where you hold a button to power up a more powerful attack. You can press, rate, release, that sort of thing. Killing a guy when he's down gives you a little boost to this mechanic called Resolve, which you use to refill your health or use for different moves. The whole health refill thing, I think, kind of actually works quite well, because it means if you fuck up really badly and just get beaten by a ton of enemies at once, you're pretty much gonna die without so you don't get that goofy thing with like playing through Days Gone and getting to a high sort of leveling my guy up pretty high and just running about taking shots and not caring because I'm high enough level, I don't care if I'm on hard, these guys are not high enough level to hurt me. So while you do boost your health, I'm hoping it won't be to the point where you're just running around and not thinking. Once again, there's this nice thing where if you get in a good blow, you can insta-kill a lot of enemies, which appreciated. There is a witch time style thing I haven't unlocked yet, so dodge last minute, everything slows down. So again, there's quite a few mechanics here, and hopefully the enemies will kind of end up matching them, and the game's difficulty won't just drop through the floor once I'm, you know, a little further in. So this footage has mostly been from just one Pacific quest I've been on, and this is me nearing the end of it. That's me jumping and not pressing circle to roll Zelda style to avoid damage, which is one of those mechanics I quite like, but you have to put a skill point into it, so you know that sucks. Like I said, I wish all these action titles would be more reasonable with what you start with. I know people complain about Wonderful 101 not having like the dodge unlocked at the start, but it's so low cost. This kind of puts everything at a cost of 1 or 2. I'm sure they probably reach 3s when you get further in, I'm not sure. So some of the stuff you really should be picking up immediately, or just makes the game feel better, isn't unlocked immediately. So I think that sucks a little bit, but oh wow. Me doing some pretty easy stealth, just killing everyone, and yeah, you can do multi-takedowns, and there's a fear mechanic a la Batman and stuff like that, but not really doing this right now, haven't unlocked some of it. But here we are, use that mechanic to call everyone out, because rather than having to search for that last guy, I can switch to my armor, which slows things down, but screw it. See, that's why I don't like these. This is why I wish I would just have my armor magically appear when combat starts over my other stuff. Stops me going into a menu, unless menu's good, obviously. There we go. This is me about to fight off against a boss now. Finished off the last guy. Time to... By the way, I don't really consider this a spoiler. This is like a pretty minor side quest to unlock a new move. Doing the Witcher thing, click on everything, and face off against the boss. And here we go.
burned, boy. For 15 years, I dreamed of cutting Lord Shimura to the bone.
You won't live long enough to face him.
The old man taught me the legendary attack before I killed him. Let me show you.
There we go. Like I said, I don't see this as a big spot. This is very much side quest stuff. Like, one nice detail is they do mention like stuff relevant to the dead old dad. Like, don't worry, don't complain. It happens before the main story starts. Yeah, I did way worse in my Last of Us gameplay impressions. But I kind of thought so many people were dogging on that thing. I just wanted to say, hey, this is pretty fucking good. I like it better than this. This is good, but it's still open world grind fests in places. I will say it nicely contrasts something like Red Dead 2, which I thought was just so much about presentation, but its core gameplay was so mediocre. As this combat, it's not groundbreaking, but it is fun in that. Oh yeah, I should mention the lock-on, because there's no lock-on, so sometimes you're like pressing backwards and press attack and your guy attacks in the wrong direction. That is something I think's a little awkward. Like, it's not a major issue, but I do think I wouldn't mind an option to lock on, but it's still not that bad. Like, your guy's pretty good at mostly hitting the people you want to hit, but be basic, like dodge the guy, wait for him to do a move, then dodge it and hit him more. I like that you can't just bullshit him with some, like, your guy will refuse. There's a nice little story thing where he'd just flat out refuse to do certain stuff, like use gadgets at this point, because it's like, come on, we're doing a boss, don't be a cunt and kill him in an unfair manner. This is an honourable duel. So that's nice. I feel like that was bringing up Last of Us 2 as this goofy problem I think it had with its boss fights. Like, I appreciate that they were there, but it has this weird thing where it won't just do that Metal Gear thing and just bullshit, fuck it, guy can take multiple headshots. It's always got to come up with some weird logical way to make it so your character can only use specific equipment. So they always have a story reason to try and take away specific gadgets and guns at points, so the boss can actually, make logical sense, which I don't think they really need to. But that's me unlocking a new move, and that's my impressions. It is good, but not really groundbreaking it for me. But then again, I sort of think this genre as a whole is one that needs like an even more radical shake-up than Breath of the Wild at this point. You know what, just bring back Dead Rising or something, make it really good Dead Rising. You know what I like about Dead Rising and how it handles like filler stuff? It's getting to the end of my footage here, but I really like how in that game you cannot you've got to constantly be moving, and you can't really decide not to fuck it, I'm losing my train of thought. But points with Dead Rising, like, to me the main goal is always to finish the story in your first playthrough, and that stops you from really spamming out and doing unimportant side quests or grinding and all that stuff. And same with Sendoku Ranch, like something like that, that's got RPG stuff in there, but it's got mechanics which are constantly pushing you to not waste your time. And that, I think, is a really clever idea, and I sort of think like more games which have all this filler stuff should do that. It's off topic, but maybe that's a topic for another time. This was just meant to be a first impressions. I'm through my footage, I've shown you an idea of what the game is, and I would recommend it if it looks like your thing. That's my take on it. It's going to be people who definitely don't like these things, and I I like him within reason, and this is definitely a within reason game. Playing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey for 4 hours at the free trial thing. That was just like, what is this? How are normies still buying this stuff? It feels just bad to play and horribly outdated. This is pretty decent, but not exceptional.